This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
The bribery trial continued today for former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson as Jonathan Ash, the contractor who claimed he paid Gibson hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes, took the stand for the 8th consecutive day. Our BJ McDermott is following the case and has this report.
Lead prosecutor James Guthrie QC wrapped up re-examination today, where key witness Jonathan Ash maintained the term shingles was used by he and former cabinet minister Shane Gibson to refer to money. In cross-examination, lead defense attorney Keith Knight QC referred to a WhatsApp voice note where Ash and Gibson discussed dropping off shingles. Knight implied that the term shingles could have been used for anything like a hairstyle or actual shingles. As a result, Guthrie asked Ash, what did the term mean? Ash replied saying, quote, "I was meaning cash. I was dropping off cash," end quote. Guthrie also questioned Ash on the photo he sent to Gibson of a pile of shingles and asked him to explain the reason behind sending the photo. Ash explained that at the time he and his workers were cleaning up the Golden Gates constituency and workers would gather up piles of rubbish, which is why the picture was sent to him, which he forwarded to Gibson. The British QC then moved to asking Ash about the meeting between himself, his lawyer Alicia Bowe, ASP Deborah Thompson, Deborah Bastian, and her lawyer Mr. Roll. Guthrie asked Ash if he knew the meeting was being recorded, to which he said he had no idea. When asked if the meeting affected his evidence, Ash said, "No, sir." During cross-examination, the lead defense attorney suggested to Ash that his statement was altered, to which Ash said no. Guthrie then asked the witness if he accepts that a lot was cut out of his statement. Ash replied, quote, "I accept that minor stuff was cut out," end quote. Guthrie then re-examined Ash on his customs infractions. Ash agreed that he had been charged with making false declarations in the past and explained that as a custom broker, people would go to the States and shop. He further explained that sometimes when they returned, they would use his name or their own name. If he received an item, he said, it's his duty to go online and ensure that the price is accurate. Once he is satisfied, he says he would then submit the invoice to customs. Then he added it's on customs to ensure that all items are accounted for and properly paid for. He said if customs finds any infractions, then he would go and pay the fine. The lead prosecutor then sought to clear up speculation about the freeze order that was placed on Ash's account at Commonwealth Bank. The court heard that the order allowed Ash to access $100,000 per week from his savings account. Additionally, the order allowed Ash to access $500,000 from his checking account, and should he need additional funds over the $500,000, he could have access to the funds with the permission of the Attorney General. Gibson's standing trial for his alleged conduct between January 2017 and March 2017. It is alleged that between that time he received $280,000 in bribes from contractor Jonathan Ash. Courts adjourned until November 11th. Reporting for Jcntvnews, I'm Barrington McDermott.
The body of former Cabinet Minister and Member of Parliament for Bamboo Town, Tennyson Roscoe Wells lie in state in the foyer of the House of Assembly today, with viewing for the general public taking place between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. this evening. Funeral services for Mr. Wells will take place tomorrow at Christ Church Cathedral, George Street at 11 a.m. Intermits to follow in Woodlawn Cemetery, Soldier Road. Up until his death, he served as chairman of the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute, better known as BAMSI. No sooner have police wrapped up one homicide investigation, they're left with another. For instance, just hours after confirming the death of a man shot on Taylor Street, Nassau Village, police responded to reports of another shooting in Kennedy Subdivision. Preliminary reports are that the victim was standing outside a bar in Kennedy Subdivision when the occupants of a gray vehicle opened fire, fatally wounding him. The hunt continues for the culprits behind both incidents. 112 Haitian nationals repatriated from the capital early this morning. The 91 males and 21 females were returned to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, on board a Bahamas Air flight that departed the Lyndon Pindling International Airport around 8 a.m. The group was escorted by a team of law enforcement officers, inclusive of Immigration and Defense Force officers. In a press release, the Department of Immigration says it will continue its commitment to carrying out the mandates of the agency to combat illegal migration by establishing effective border control, management in compliance with the statutes of laws of the country. 1 in 4 adults and 1 in 10 children will be affected with a mental disorder. To spread awareness, World Mental Health Day is celebrated globally to break the stigma of mental illness. The Bahamas Psychological Association held a conference on mental health in the workplace for EAP personnel, employers, HR officers, supervisors, and administrators. The conference had a focus on how the workplace plays a role in disaster resilience and recovery. During the official opening, Minister of Health Dr. Duane Sands noted that although resilience can help, it does not get rid of a problem such as the emotional trauma of Hurricane Dorian.
We need to recognize that post-traumatic stress disorder does not only apply to those who have experienced trauma, but those who have witnessed it or know of somebody who has. And so we have not just 75,000 at-risk persons. We have 400,000 at-risk persons for PTSD. And so while we have seen the vast destruction of infrastructure, businesses, and homes, the thing that we need to be most concerned about is the psychological, psychosocial impact that weighs heavily on this nation.
The association attempted to have previous mental health awareness events in the summer, but Dorian stopped those from happening. Despite the setbacks, counseling psychologist Barrington Brennen said they were able to do some training for mental health assistance.
When this year turned around and the clock on the finance started for 2019-2020, we immediately were able to support and facilitate a training on as we strengthen our mental health psychosocial support services response and preparation. And we had a training called psychological first aid. We trained about 20 to 30 healthcare providers and others to be prepared for such an event as this. So it was part of our strategy to strengthen our preparedness for our health workers as well as the wider community to be able to lend the level of support that we know will be needed in the event of a tragedy such as this.
Workshops took place this afternoon for risk reduction in the workplace. They discussed promoting individual and family resilience in persons with mental disorders and reducing harms associated with substance abuse. Stay with us. A check on sports is up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.